Oh, impeccable. Impeccable. Man, my boy Robbie had an unbelievable conversation last night over dinner. And it's great for things to come into fruition. I wouldn't even call it the new me, but I'm big on energy. And that feeling on the sideline collectively as a team, starting with PJ to the offense going out there and well, really the defense getting the turnover, that's a combination of a great team win on the road. That was a great team that we played. And, you know, just for it to come full circle, offensively, defensively, special teams, you know, it's great work. Well, I put it like this. This time last week, I was eating a bowl of cereal. Like, you feel me?
I think, like, 1,000%, you know what I'm saying? 1,000%.
Keep pounding, man!
All right, that's it, y'all.
Hey, the NFL is more fun when Cam Newton is in it. And you know, Mike, of all the things I've seen him wear after a game, and I love his style, I don't think I've ever seen him wear something with the Panthers logo on it in all those years. He's all in. He's back with the Panthers. He is indeed back. He made sure we all knew it. He gladly took the 15-yard penalty to take off his helmet after scoring that touchdown and proclaiming to the world, I'm back. And it makes the Panthers relevant. I remember last week, people were like, well, why are they doing this? Well, first of all, P.J. Walker's your alternative. That's why. Sorry, P.J. Walker, but Cam Newton's available. P.J. Walker's your alternative. You're already done with Sam Darnold. Why not do it? I give David Tepper credit for doing something because no matter what happens the rest of the way, yesterday was special enough to make us say, thank you, David Tepper, for giving us Cam Newton back, even if it only lasts for that one day.
And it's amazing that Cam, in the half a season, can make maybe $10 million. That's pretty nice. And you know why I wear some of the stuff that he wears, some of that flashy stuff? Because he can. Dude is just, right. I mean, if he wasn't in football, could be a model. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So that dude can pull off anything. And eating the cereal, if it was Captain Crunch, that's always rough on the roof of my mouth. So I have to be careful with how much Captain Crunch I eat, though I love it. But, you know, for them, they're looking for a quarterback of the future. You know, Cam's obviously in his 30s, so he's not the long-term quarterback for Carolina. P.J. Walker, I'm with you. I like P.J. Walker. Had a hell of a career at Temple. Obviously, you know, played some in the XFL as well and was looking for a chance. And with his old college coach in Matt Rule, you know, getting that chance. But they need a quarterback of the future. And this is a good stopgap. Now, whether it continues to next year, we'll have to wait and see. Because we saw Cam run a couple times. We saw him throw a few times. But we haven't seen Cam take over a game yet. And that could come next week when they play Washington. Good chance. I've heard you and others talk about how could be starting next week. Let's see. Because Cam has not been very accurate. Cam has dealt with injuries, and he's going to be a lot more healthy now. He's had some turnovers as well. So let's see what happens. I know he's back, and that was a great moment. And I'm sure Matt Rule went up to him after and said, I'm happy you're back as well. Please don't take your helmet off after any more touchdowns. You did it the one time. I'll give you that. Now let's move on, and I'm sure Cam will. He just wanted to announce his return, which is cool. But now let's see. Because at the end of the day, listen, Mac Jones is a really good quarterback and an excellent rookie quarterback. But let's remember, Mac Jones beat out Cam Newton. Now, was there more going into that with the week he had to miss, with the COVID situation? Well, we may never know. We may. Who knows? But he still got beat out by a rookie. So let's see what he does now as a full-time quarterback, if he in fact does start and is back in a starting role. I love the guy. He's an incredible athlete for his size who took way too much of a beating during his career, especially over the last few years, and wasn't getting any calls for it at all. You know what he wants to do, but his body's been beat up a little more. Can he do it as a full-time quarterback again without getting nicked up again? That's what we need to find out. Bottom line, though, for Carolina, I like the chance they're taking right now, but in the end of the day, they're going to be looking for their future full-time quarterback.
I'm going to tell you the story about the first time I ever saw Cam Newton, Mike, because I know I've never told you. I've told it on the show before, but it's been a while. Draft day 2011, during the lockout, crazy time in the NFL. The draft still held at Radio City Music Hall. I was walking down 6th Avenue to report for duty. tough duty. You cover the draft. And, it's an exciting night. There's a buzz. And they're doing a red carpet. They're doing a red carpet in front of Radio City Music Hall. And I see Cam Newton coming across the red carpet. And I said, they're doing it on an elevated platform. And I got close. It's like, there's no elevated platform. He's a giant. and he is. He is just so large. I think that's one of the reasons he never got the calls. You just look at him and say, you're fine. No, that guy hit you late. You didn't feel it. You're fine. And so to have him back, he only was in on 9 snaps, 12% of the total offensive performance of the Carolina Panthers. And as you mentioned, I'm told there's a good chance he'll be the starter next week when Washington comes to town, when Ron Rivera, who coached him for 9 years, comes to town. And when I talked to Rivera yesterday about what his team was able to do to the Buccaneers, I had checked the schedule, always check the schedule, see what the next game is, see if there's some angle, see if there's something when I get one of these guys on the phone, and it's just, whoa, look at this. We'd already seen Cam Newton score his touchdown, so I said, hey, Ron, you coached a guy for 9 years. And I was kind of joking when I said it, like, do you carry around a little file of plays that I will use if I ever have to defend against Cam Newton? He said, yeah, I do. So he's going to be ready. I mean, that makes a game that, Mike, we otherwise, 24 hours ago, we would have looked at that game and said, who cares? Now we look at it and we say, wow, this is one of the games that stands out on next week's schedule.
Listen, it does, but I'll continue to say, let's wait, because it's a great story if he can come back and if he can play well, remember, because he's overcoming injuries. But I'll say again, last year he throws 10 interceptions. The year before that, he only played 2 games in Carolina. He got hurt going through the injuries. Before that, 13 interceptions, 16 interceptions, 14 interceptions. He's always been in the double digit in the teens, sometimes the high teens. So can he avoid that? That's good. It'll be a great story, Mike, if it's a great story. It's not going to be a great story if he starts getting hit and getting nicked up again, or starts throwing some interceptions again, or being inaccurate with his passes again. It'll be a great story. We all want to see if Cam can recapture what Cam had. And I do feel the league not calling some of those plays took some of that away from him. It was like Shaq. Shaq would get hit hard unless they were really trying to foul him to put him at the free throw line because he struggled there. Shaq wouldn't get calls a lot of times because he was so big, and neither did Cam, and I think that cost him some. But so again, I think it's a very cool story, but I'll say again, only if it's a cool story. And let's just remember the reality, Cam got beat out by a rookie quarterback. So where is he as a full-time quarterback?
You make a great point about the interceptions. I'm looking at his full career stats. He's had double-digit interceptions every year of his career, except 2019, when he only played in 2 games, and including 2015, the year that he was the NFL's most valuable player. He still had 10 interceptions then. And you mentioned what the Panthers are doing. David Tepper is obsessed with finding a franchise quarterback, and he tried Teddy Bridgewater. Didn't work. Teddy Bridgewater's still good enough, not a franchise guy. Move on to the next one. Sam Darnold, obvious through half of the season. He's not a franchise guy. Could he be good enough to play? Maybe, but not a franchise guy. On to the next one. And the next one's coming after the season. The next one is Deshaun Watson, possibly, if they can convince him to waive his no-trade clause and go to Carolina instead of somewhere else. Could be, I don't know, whoever else is out there. I don't want to start throwing names around recklessly, but he's going to be looking for a guy. And now you've got Cam Newton that maybe that's your bird in the hand. Maybe that reduces some of the urgency that we've seen, almost desperation from David Tepper to find his franchise guy. Maybe there's just enough left in the tank with Cam Newton that he can be a little more deliberate instead of this kind of frenetic, got to find somebody, got to find somebody, got to find somebody. Maybe he can take a step back, and maybe that's what he needs to do.
Yeah, I do think, if nothing else, I agree with you that Cam, if he can play well enough, can possibly be that bridge to what they're going to go to next. Because is it going to be free agency? Is it going to be the college route where there is a handful of quarterbacks, but no one really at this point has that buzz? And me doing college games this year, I've seen more than a few of them. And there's some really good ones, but none where you go, wow, that's a grade like, Andrew Luck or a great, like a Trevor Lawrence. But that'll happen after the season. It's always amazing when the kids are actually done playing football and all they do is wear shorts and a t-shirt. All of a sudden their grades go up because that's how the quarterback gets evaluated sometimes in the NFL. It can be a ridiculous thing. So is it going to come from the college ranks? Will they work out something with Deshaun Watson? But I'll say this. Listen, you need an above average to really, really good quarterback. You'll certainly take a great quarterback, but there's only X amount of those in the league if you want to get somewhere. If you don't, you got to have a really good defense, which they showed promise of. But let's also be honest. You don't have Christian McCaffrey, you're not going anywhere anyway. We normally say that about a quarterback, but if you don't have him, you're not going anywhere. That dude comes back, and I did the game when he hurt his hammy way back when, and all of a sudden that offense became unbelievably vanilla. He comes back, he's getting 23, 25 touches, running the ball, catching the ball. He opens up that offense for everybody else. He is such a quarterback friend, whether he's the target of a pass or because so much attention is paid to him that other receivers or other routes can be open. So to me, he is the key. You want to find a franchise quarterback. You want to find a quarterback that's going to be one of the best in the league, but find one at least that's really, really good and make sure Christian McCaffrey can stay as healthy as he can. But that's one of the other things. He touches the ball so much, he can be susceptible to injury. But to me, that guy is the key to this team.
And you mentioned the scouting process of the incoming rookie quarterbacks. And every year we go through this. We don't know who they're going to be. It does bubble up after the season. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that coaches get involved in watching film and chiming in after they're done with their work of getting their teams ready week in and week out. And they can get up to speed on who's out there. But there's always going to be somebody. The question is, what's that guy going to be? And now the Panthers have the ability to be a little bit more deliberate. And it wasn't that long ago where we didn't even know Kyler Murray was going to play football. He was possibly going to play baseball. He'd been a top 10 pick of the A's. He's been great for the Cardinals. There's a chance he's going to be back next week. The Cardinals are a very different team without him. Yeah, they beat the 49ers, but boy, they looked awful yesterday with Colt McCoy. McCoy also got injured. I'm told Murray making good progress, 18 days now removed from spraining his ankle. If he continues to make progress, he could be back this weekend at Seattle. One of the factors, Mike, they got their bye after that, so it's got to be tempting to say, let's give him that extra time.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.